It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the Naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 61 today. It's been 167 hours since we've seen you. We've been waiting for this moment. So let's do this. Let's do it together. Enjoy clothes-free living for all of the right reasons for the next entire hour together. How about that? The pool is clean as a whistle and ready to go. The hot tub is fired up with the jacuzzi jets flying around. The grill is going full bore. Fruits, vegetables off to the right. Cold drinks off to the left. Hot drinks inside. The desserts that you brought right by the door. And we have everything else that you need. We did not provide the sun and the slight breeze, but those were provided for us. So it's going to be a great hour and a great day. Living the life, clothes-free living, as we always say, for the right reasons. Well, on today's show, we will have part 2 of my interview with Laura. She is the owner and founder of Naturist Cleaners in the UK, the business that provides nude house cleaners. You go online, you go on the phone, you book a person to come over. She comes over or he comes over, takes their clothes off privately, cleans your house, nothing sexual, nothing untoward, nothing inappropriate, and life is great. And you can be nude too while your cleaner is there. So part 2 with Laura. Lisa Monroe will be here. We have a couple of emails to go through. And then part 1 of my interview with the brand new president of the American Association for Nude Recreation, AANR, or ANR, as some people like to call it, Linda WEBER. Part 1 of my interview with Linda WEBER today, and part 2 of my interview with Linda WEBER on next week's show. Very quickly, don't forget to visit our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com. You can send us an email at nakedforevermore@gmail.com. And the best way to reach us is on our Twitter page under our name. You can find us there fairly easily. And we do ask, if you don't mind, if you have a moment, to like, review, subscribe to everything that we do, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to the show, and also on YouTube, where we give you a brand new preview every Wednesday morning. Please like, review, subscribe is all we ask in return. Now let's get to part 2 of my interview with the owner-founder of Naturist Cleaners in the UK, part 2 with the very terrific Laura. And it also says the client can also be nude. Now, that is not necessarily always the case with nudist cleaning companies. But in your case, you're the client, you're paying for the service, you want to hang around nude, you can. But as you already said, no touching, don't get too close to the people who are cleaning. But that's allowed, right, as long as they behave appropriately?
Because of the press attention we had and articles published, we had so many inquiries, not just from Naturists. And sometimes we have to be very careful who we provide service as well to protect our cleaners. So, they not get into any bad experiences. But yes, everyone can book our service as soon as they respect our rule. So they can be, again, some clients, they want to try this experience. And in a way, sometimes we found, and we have lots of good feedbacks, and from clients with like reviews when they leave after booking the services. Some of them, they mentioned that it works as a therapy, because some clients, they could be very lonely. They could be, not as free as naturists are.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole experience, being nude with someone and not in any way, sexually involved, it's a different sort of life experience, and it works as liberating. And they just say it's just wonderful how you feel and how normal you feel after you getting dressed. And sometimes, just starting simple conversations, clients could be very nervous, but when they, completely nude. You start that chat, and then you just 5 minutes later, you don't even feel that you're unclothed, you know. So we
Yeah.
have really interesting feedbacks and reviews from our clients that they never tried nude experiences or like, you know, being nude on the beach. And then after this, they, you know, they allowed more freedom into their lifestyle. So yeah, I think it's great in a way just to try not for genuine natures, but for everyone really.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing how that works. The clothes come off, and sometimes within seconds or within minutes, maybe it'll take a week or two, depending on the person, but they realize, wow, this is really a good experience.
Yes.
And maybe I was supposed to be this way. As we talked, the old joke is, well, if God wanted us to be naked, he would have had us born naked. Well, he did.
Yeah, like for me, when I come from so restricted country, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, you know, for some people it could be really life-changing experience, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
undress in front of stranger is just like not your partner or, you know, anyone you want
Yeah.
to do more than just being nude, but you know, it's completely different and good feeling.
Yeah, very much so. Now, I also saw, and it's important to point this out. Can a client hires somebody, hires you, one of your people. She shows up. Can he have other people there? Like, I'm going to invite 10 of my best friends to come over. I'll sell tickets and sell popcorn. And the answer is no. You can't just have your people there. If you own the home, you can be there. Otherwise, not allowed, right? We don't want this to be a circus, and you make that very clear, right?
Yes, well, we live in the UK and some people they share houses, so it's
Okay.
quite not, you know, everyone does, but it is pretty common. And some clients they book. I think that rule applies to people who share the houses. So
Oh,
we
okay.
had one or two occasions when cleaner arrives and client share house, but he has his own space within the house. So I think that was a no go. So, you
Okay.
know, it is
Yeah.
like, you know, we obviously don't want to upset anyone and we want to make sure the cleaner is safe and no other people in the house, you know, can be um, offended by naturist cleaning. So that's just our part of the rule.
Okay. Now, in terms of pricing, I saw it's £50 an hour with a 2 hour minimum. So looking at £100, but there's also a booking fee of £55. That's £155 for 2 hours. Translated to the American dollar, roughly $180. Is that about right? Am I reasonably accurate on that?
It is correct. Yes.
Okay.
So we pay cleaner £50 an hour. So
Mhm.
client pays the cleaner £50 an hour. Minimum booking is 2 hours,
Right.
just to be worth the traveling. And it's because the service is very for quite niche industry. For, if it's niche industry business for
Mhm.
very small audience,
Right.
and cleaners because we don't have too many cleaners cover. Well, we still cover whole UK, and some cleaners they have to travel reasonable length to get to reach their address. So
Right.
hour, half hour driving, and you know that's total 3 hours. You know, so it just compensates the travel time as
Yeah.
well. So it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Also, the safety aspect as well. Because we want to make sure, you know, clients who books, they have to explain this correctly now. But basically, you know, it just filters the clients that they more genuine than just, you know, not genuine people trying to book and do something else with
Yeah.
service.
Yeah, makes sense. I might have been a little short on the American dollar. Might be closer to 190 or $200. Either way, 2 hours of a cleaning service, nude. The client can be nude. That's totally reasonable and not out of hand at all.
It might sound like more than standard cleaning service, but we have such a good reputation, and I
Mhm.
think it's not just cleaning, but it's more than cleaning. It's, you know, it's liberating, it respects your lifestyle, and the cleaner understands your needs. So I think
Yeah,
it's very rewarding
yeah.
in a way to book service and just have different experience same time when your house is cleaned.
I fully agree. And we have some nude services over here. I don't know if these are universal. They probably are. We obviously have nude cleaning services here to an extent. We have naked painting services. Painters will show up and obviously not outside your house, but inside the house, they'll paint while nude. We have nude moving services. Now they're not in the nude when they move from the truck to your house or from your house to the truck, but let's say they're moving it in, they generally have their shirts off. When they get the furniture in, they take their clothes off and set it up for you. Totally normal and normalizing naturism, nothing untoward or sexual about it. And that's what you're doing. And I'm guessing you're continuing to expand. You not only are you doing this in the UK, but I think you said Spain, you have some clients there. You have at least one worker in the United States so far. So you're expanding quite a bit, aren't you?
We are, and also we're offering franchise business to anyone who's interested as well. So, if in
Wow.
the States, someone else listening, they're interested to buy our brand, we are selling. I sold one in Finland,
Mhm.
but it never developed. I think the owner had some personal reasons before we started to sort of launch together. And then one lady from Netherlands, so we're about to set up a call, and she's interested as well in purchasing Naturist Cleaners and
Oh,
starting in Netherlands. So yeah, so that's opportunities for everyone, and we are a very trusted brand. And I think
yeah.
it's for someone who wants to stay home and do their own business. I'm here to help. So yeah,
That's great. So you're willing to expand pretty much anywhere, wherever somebody lives. If they want to buy a franchise, they can do it.
definitely. As
Yeah.
soon as it's safe, I
Yeah.
think maybe in the states you could say some states could be risky maybe to
Oh,
run
yeah.
in
Yeah.
every house, but
Yeah.
I think people who live in the country, I think that's why I wouldn't go and run business myself because I don't know every country, and I
Right.
think people who live in the country, they know the best how to set up and how to run the business. So I'm
Yeah.
here just to help. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And over here, I can't think of anywhere. Of course, now that I've said that, people will write in, "Oh no, you don't know about this place," but I can't think of a whole lot of places where they would refuse to allow that to happen. Because first of all, how would they even know? The cleaner shows up, goes in the house. Who knows what she's doing or what she's wearing? So from that standpoint, it wouldn't be a problem. Now, if she goes running down the street nude, obviously that'd be a problem. But you don't do that, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's private there. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think in that case it would be any different than somebody coming in to install a new dishwasher or give you a massage in your home or medical treatment. Nurses go home to home. They keep their clothes on, from what I know, but maybe they don't. I don't know. But who cares what goes on in your home unless you have a nosy neighbor who just likes to talk? We don't care about those people anyway, do we?
No, of course not.
All right.
And you can always close the blinds, I guess, and
Oh, yeah.
and respect your private space.
Yeah. No, very well said. Well, it's been great to talk to you. We heard about you and your company, Naturist Cleaners. We've been talking to Laura from the UK, Naturist Cleaners, a founder and owner. We heard about you from one of our regular listeners. He's written a number of emails and he said, by the way, I just got this email across my desk or on my computer, and he sent it to us. And I thought, we got to get this lady on because we need more of this. My personal opinion is I think every business should be a naturist business. Now, we're a few light years away from getting there. I know that. We're not wacko around here, but why not? Why would you wear clothes at certain times, like cleaning a home? We talked about that. You get hot, you get sweaty, you get sticky, you just feel yucky. Well, when you have your clothes off, you don't experience any of that. Not to mention the bending and twisting and getting on your knees and going under sink cabinets or whatever. It's just so much easier to operate clothes free, isn't it?
And it's nice to have a choice, isn't it? So,
Yes.
we have
Yes.
so many choices, and naturism could be one of many choices we have to select. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, before we let you go, Laura from Naturist Cleaners, tell our listeners how they can find you, how they can find your website and get in touch with you if they want to book a cleaner, but also if they have an interest in getting a franchise.
Well, our website called www.naturistcleaners.co.uk. We have also .com site. So anyone who lands on our website, there is contact us. We have email, we have contact us box. So anyone could send us inquiry or email, and I'll be happy to help.
All right. Well, that sounds very good. I'm glad you're doing this, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do and expanding and maybe to be worldwide Naturist Cleaners before we know it. Every country in the world hires Laura and Naturist Cleaners to clean all their homes. Wouldn't that be great?
Well, that's nice wish, Frank.
Yeah.
And yeah, let it happen. Thank you. Yes,
Oh,
thank
you
you for
bet.
having me today. And yeah, if anyone in the States wants to speak to me and
Yeah.
may be interested to launch a similar business as well. So yeah, please get in touch.
Absolutely. Again, Laura from Naturist Cleaners, her website and email address are in the show notes. Laura from Naturist Cleaners, go out there and have a terrific day. Normally, I tell our guests, go out there and have a great clothes free day, but you're not a naturist, so I won't say that to you. Just go out there and have a great day. But you might want to think about the naturism thing. It's really kind of cool and fun. But until then, just go out there and have a great day. We'll talk again soon.
Well, thank you, Frank. I'll do. I do occasionally. Yeah, I do yoga as well. So Nude yoga is very therapeutic and very relaxing as well.
That's right. I forgot about that. Before we let you go, what's that all about? Are those nude yoga classes online, or it's just something you do privately for yourself, or what?
So again, with our services, we met so many interesting people, and some of our cleaners who came on our website, they said they can do nude yoga. Some of them they said they can do nude cooking. So we had a couple special events for our clients, which we had come dine with me
Hmm.
in nude. So we did like a 3 course dinner served by naturist chef, female and male, a couple, so the wife and husband, they came to cook for us. And then we invited our special guest, a special client who wanted. And then we did an hour yoga session as well, so like yoga event, where everyone arrived in a group, female and male, and they practiced yoga exercises with our instructors, naturist instructors who run yoga class.
Well, very good. So you are not totally opposed to being a naturist. So maybe the next time we talk, you'll say, "Hey, Frank, clothes for a living for all the right reasons. You were right."
Yeah, definitely,
Okay.
Frank.
All
Definitely,
right.
yes.
All right, Laura. Thank you very much. Laura from Naturist Cleaners. You can find her. Her address is in the show notes. Laura, go out there and I'll just go ahead and say it. Laura, go out there and have a great clothes free day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Frank. Same to you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. The terrific Laura, the owner and founder of Naturist Cleaners in the UK. All of her contact information is in the show notes. What a delightful person. Very astute businesswoman, very intelligent, has her acting gear, and is running a terrific business. So check her out, Naturist Cleaners in the UK. And again, you are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 61 today. We love having you with us. Clothes free and living for all the right reasons. And I don't know about you, but I think I hear some music in the background. Do you hear it? I think it's time. Yes, it is. It's time for the one, the only, the terrifically over the top and smiling and clothes free, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the 100% over the top, clothes free and smiling, the terrific Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I'm doing terrific today. And how about yourself?
I am doing really well. I noticed something on our YouTube promos. We release a new one every Wednesday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, of course,
Yes, we do.
kind of teasing what's coming up. Every time your segment comes up, it's listed as Naturist Correspondent. Now, this is on me. I'm the one who did it, so I'm not making fun of anybody but myself. Well, we already know you're a naturist. I mean, you show up nude all the time. So I
Kind of
think it
hard to
was,
miss.
yeah. I am not commenting on that at all. We will just move along.
Yes, sir. Probably best.
But I think the original intent was naturism correspondent because you're reporting on all things within the naturism community, nudist community. But then again, you are a naturist. It just caught my eye the other day. I thought, well, of course she's a naturist correspondent.
Yeah.
Would we put Lisa Monroe, textile correspondent? Of course not, because you're not.
Nope, I am not.
Okay. Well, we got a couple of emails today, both from the same gentleman.
Okay, before you go any further, I have a
Yes.
question for you.
Okay.
I got an email from someone who was just thought the story about your dentist visit and the accidental volume control issue that you had
Oh, yeah.
was hilarious, and wanted to know if there was any follow-up to that. Did they ever say anything to you?
No, and I only went there one more time after that. That was in
Oh,
December, and at the end of December, the end of the fiscal year, or the end of the calendar year,
yeah.
they stopped taking my insurance. So they lost about half of their patients. They did it on purpose. Long story. So I've had to go somewhere else. And as far as I know, that story has not followed me there because they've not mentioned it. But yeah, that was it, it was embarrassing to the max, but also funny as heck because I get absurd humor even if it's on me.
Absolutely.
Ready to put the drill in my mouth here. Let me just turn this on. Headphones were on. They were on my head, but I apparently forgot to sync them with the phone. So blasting full blast. It's time to take off your clothes. Enjoy clothes-free living.
Are you making fun of
No,
the intro there?
no,
No.
no, not at all. I'm just thinking how it might have sounded to them.
I know.
Now, I always wondered because I did have another appointment after that, and that's when in fact, I told this story on the show. The dentist said, "So, what are you listening to today?" With a clear tone of voice that,
Yes.
yeah, we heard and we know. And I wasn't sure if they had heard the first time because they were behind me, but yeah, apparently
Yeah.
everybody in the place heard. I don't know if they went in and looked up like why was he listening to that show? Let's check this Frank Stone out online. Oh my gosh, it was his show.
Yes.
I don't know if they did that, but
Well, they may be listeners now. You never know.
that's true. If so, hello, Doctor So and So. I won't
E-
say her name out loud because
Exactly.
don't want to embarrass anybody. Okay,
Uh,
can we proceed with the emails? Are you done fooling around?
yes.
All right. Okay, we got two emails from the same gentleman today by the name of Gerald, and I did not confirm where he lives. So I don't even know what country he lives, but if you don't mind, can you read the first paragraph of email number one?
I certainly can. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for your contributions to the community. I've been practicing naturism for some years now. I was actually practicing before I even knew it was a thing, and he
Mhm.
laughs. After debating for some time, I finally decided to dip my toes in the naturist world publicly and to create an X or Twitter account to express my love for naturism and holistic health and to connect to more like minded naturists.
Okay, I'll take the next paragraph. As of now, I pretty much do my own thing as there isn't really a big naturist community in my area, or at least that I know of. Most people around here frown upon nudity outside of the home, so I'm naked at home a lot and go out to the hiking trails nearby and get naked out there. And yes, I often play your podcast when I'm out there. And if you can go ahead and finish up.
Eventually, I will visit some beaches, resorts, clubs, but as of now, it's a solo practice for me. I have made great connections already online with other great naturist nudists. Your show has been very instrumental in my journey coming out as a naturist. Just wanted to say thanks and keep doing the work. And I don't mind if you use my name if you decide to share this publicly, which is a nice thing for him to do.
Yeah, I did confirm that with him. I was, are you sure it's okay if we'll do both of these? And he said, yep, absolutely. So that's good. That whole part about there's not a naturist community where I live, as far as I know of.
Mhm,
I don't want to say with certainty because there's no way to do that, but
mhm.
I'll bet there is. I'll bet there are lots of people who are nude in their home and would love to have somebody like Gerald pop over for an iced tea or something,
Yeah,
but they don't know each other. And
no,
we've talked about that before, how to connect. You start a meetup,
yeah.
whatever you do, there are ways to do that. But I find it hard to believe that nobody in his area is a naturist or nudist. They just don't tell you. And it might even be the clerk at the local grocery store, but he doesn't know that because they don't talk about it. What do you think?
I think it's very true. And it's great opportunities if people can get to know each other. If they are not close to a resort or a beach or some facility, then, these non landed clubs can be a very good thing, just like you said, a meetup. But you can even organize if you choose, or just a few people to get together like we've done and, with friends on, the patio and the pool area. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a form of sharing your love of naturism with people.
Yeah. No, I agree. Now, the second email, I only sent you the first paragraph. So you're thinking in your head by reading it's a one paragraph email. No, there are two paragraphs, but I'm purposely hiding the second one from you, but I will give it to you before I read it. But why don't you take the first paragraph, this email number two from Gerald? Go right ahead.
Okay, well, that's ominous. But anyway, okay. After discovering your podcast a while back when it was featured on a blog on my email, I have been mostly playing your episodes during my lunchtime. I went back to your first episode and played some this morning while doing some canning. I just got through listening to episodes 55 and 56 where you interviewed Dava. What a wonderful sounding lady. She had a wonderful sense of humor and a wonderful attitude. It was one of the best interviews you have had, and there have been some great ones.
Wow, it's very nice.
Very
There
nice.
is an art and a science to interviewing. Maybe someday we'll talk about that. But he enjoyed her, and honestly, people have asked me before, "Who's the favorite guest you've had on?" I've liked them all.
Yeah.
There's nobody I didn't like. I guess we wouldn't have them on if we didn't like them, right?
Yeah,
At
I
least
think we
initially.
wouldn't, and
Yeah.
also, when you reach out to them in a conversational and friendly manner, and
Yeah.
you just make it a talk between naturists as
Yeah.
opposed to a formal interview, then things always seem to be much better and easier to listen to, and much more entertaining and informative.
Yeah, and we make everybody look good here. I think the word is on the street now. You're not going to get embarrassed there, and we'll take good care of you. So, but that's nice to hear.
It is.
Okay, I'll read the second paragraph. Now, I purposely withheld this from you. I'm going to give it to you in just a moment, but I suspect that you and Gerald have privately teamed up behind my back to pull a stunt here. And when you see the email, I think you'll know why, but we'll go from there. I don't know how much money you're getting for this. let me
I would never do such a thing. What are you talking about?
let
Good
me get the
heavens, Frank.
all right. Let me get the email here. Okay, I'll hand this to you. There you go.
Thank you.
All right, you can read along. Second paragraph. Don't react until I'm done. Paragraph number 2 from Gerald says, I definitely look forward to the segment each time with Lisa Monroe. She sounds so really neat.
Oh my.
I sure am curious about her. I suspect she's maybe a businesswoman and has to be in public a lot. She's a really wonderful part of your podcast. Well, I agree with all that, but Lisa Monroe, how much did Gerald pay you? How much did you charge him for that beautiful email?
I'm sorry, but Gerald and I have never had a conversation. I'm a little floored. That was a
Yeah,
very kind thing to say, but I
yeah,
would never solicit anything. Are you kidding me?
yeah. No,
Oh no,
yes,
how
I am kidding.
nice.
Of course, I'm kidding. Yeah,
Yeah, I know
the
that.
I started to tabulate the number of compliments in that paragraph, and two calculators burned out, so I had to give up. There's just too many.
Oh, that's very, very sweet of him to say, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, suspect maybe she's a businesswoman. She really is a wonderful part of your podcast. She sounds so really neat. He looks forward each time to the segment with Lisa Monroe. Well, yeah, I agree with all of that. I mean, that's why you're here. That's why you're staying here. And episode 61, you've been on every single show.
Yep.
Any comments at all? I'll open the floor to you to close out the segment.
Well, the one thing I'd like to say first off, thanks, Gerald. I appreciate the fact that you like all the segments of the show, and I don't think the show would be the same if if it weren't both Frank and I here. I think that in some ways we have made this a very good communication for people, and so I'm kind of thrilled and a little out of sorts from all of that. But I think it's important that there's a connection, and if any connections made between the listener and the podcast, and between Frank and I think it's a wonderful thing, because the message is we're all naturists and we all want to enjoy being naturists and being in touch with each other.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we haven't said this before, but it's not as though you just pop in for your little 10, 12, 15-minute segment and then you're gone until the next week. We talk every single blast a day,
Yeah.
many, many times. Hey, I got an email from this person. Should we have him on the show? What about this lady? What do you think about this? And you give your opinion. We talk, and some things I thought it was a good idea. Yeah, it's a bad idea, Frank. We talk about it ad nauseum, and I agree. Yeah, it's kind of a bad idea. Because if you think it's bad, it's probably bad. You just have a like that sixth sense more than I do. But you're a very big part of the show, not just the
Thank
10,
you.
12 minutes or so. You're basically a part of the whole show, whether you're physically here during the interviews or not. You know who's coming up way before anybody else does because we've talked about it and we've agreed to be a good person to have on.
And that's a wonderful thing, because that level of communication also makes the show better. It's we
Mm.
planning is one thing, but you do have to plan somewhat. You can't just,
Yeah.
turn the mic on and go. But the fact is that once we do get to the mic, we do turn the mic on and go. There's no other than reading things. It's just kind of
That's
us
true.
talking, and so that I think that helps also keep the tone conversational and the outreach to people, just like friends talking. So, and when people say that to us, that's an amazing thing. When they
Yeah.
say to us, you know, your show helped us, as Gerald did. Helped him identify himself as a naturist, and I think there are a lot of them out there that don't know that, and
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yep. Well, you really are a wonderful part of the podcast, as Gerald states. And Gerald, we thank you for your emails. Lisa Monroe, we must head for the hills. Go out there and have a terrific 100% over the top close free week. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely, Frank, and thanks again to Gerald and to everyone who listens. And y'all have a great week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. The very terrific Lisa Monroe brings a ray of sunshine every time she walks in. And as I must say, so that I do not get beaten up when the show is over, so do all of the other ladies who work here. There are 3 others here. Yes, ladies, if you're listening, and I know you are, you bring rays of sunshine as well. But we thank Lisa Monroe, does all of our website work for us, does all of the meme work for us that you see on Twitter. We come at you with 6 pieces of content every single week, Monday through Saturday, culminating with the full show. The only day we take off from posting is Sunday, but we do a lot of reposting on that day. And we also want to remind you we are the official podcast for the American Association for Nude Recreation, and you can become a member today. If you are, that's great. You know the benefits. You know what it's all about. But if you're not, you can do it today. AANR.com. Follow the navigation. Sign up. And before the show is over, you will be a member of the American Association for Nude Recreation. How about that? Now let's get to part 1 of my interview with the brand new president of AANR, the very terrific and highly energetic Linda WEBER. We are headed out to California this morning. We're going to meet with the brand new president for the American Association for Nude Recreation, AANR, AANR, whatever you call it. It's the same thing. So let's welcome to the show this morning our president, Linda WEBER. Good morning, Linda. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Frank.
You feeling all right? Do you still have the energy? You're just diving in and going for broke?
I am.
I can't see you ever in life. Now, I don't know you that well personally. We've talked a lot through the show. I don't really ever see you sitting down and just kicking back and watching Netflix with a bottle of iced tea and a box of Doritos. I could be wrong, but you seem like you're always on the go, as I am. Is that fairly accurate?
I am. I'm always in motion. I'm always thinking. So I do watch the occasional Netflix movie to kind of relax. But yeah, I'm always in motion. I'm always thinking.
Yeah, but you're not one of those binge watchers where I'm going to sit here for 36 hours and do nothing but watch TV. You're not one of those people.
No. I wish I was every once in a while because that means I would be relaxed. But no, I
Yeah.
just don't think I'd have the time. I'd be constantly wondering, what could I be doing right now?
I know. I like to tell people we have limited time here on Earth. We don't know when it could end today, could end 50 years from now. We don't know. So why don't we make the best of it? Get as much done as you possibly can within reason. You do need to take your time out once in a while. And it sounds like you do. So that's the way to stay busy and healthy at the same time, right?
I agree. I totally agree. That's my
Yeah.
mantra.
Yeah. I was thinking back to your story when we first met, which was last summer of 2023. We had you on the show early. And you said you discovered nudism, naturism, clothes-free living, whatever we call it, around the age of 14. The clothes came off and you just hung around nude all the time at home. And then as an adult, you hung around nude all of the time at home and really didn't discover social naturism until I think around 2019. You and your husband went on one of the nude cruises and you talked to some AANR people. And before you know it, you're getting involved. You got on a board. I think it's AANR Southwest. And here we are, only 5 years later. You went from a home nudist to the president of the American Association for Nude Recreation. How was that for a journey, and how do you feel about all that?
There's only one correction that I need to make, and that is I was a director for AANR West. But that basically is it in a nutshell, which goes to show you that there's sometimes one just seminal moment that just flips the script and turns you into a complete different direction. And I can't be more appreciative of that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it says a lot about you that you went from, I'll just say, nowhere. I mean, you went from your home, obviously, to only 5 years later becoming the president. It shows the kind of drive and energy that you have to improve life for all. And I think that's why you got, I think the last time we talked, 70% of the vote. I think it's on the AANR website as well. Well, that's why, because people see that and they admire that and they respect you as a leader already. That has to make you feel pretty darn good, doesn't it?
It does. And I think a lot of it is due to the advocacy and the education that I did on social media, which was a big step for me because I was not on social media
Mm.
at any point. So it was okay, if I want to educate, I got to get out there. I have to, show people that, hey, this is what it's about. And I think people saw that I was genuine, that I was an advocate. It wasn't about me, it was about a message. And I think it resonated with them because the last 5 years I have been doing that. So I think people felt that they did know me and they did know what I was passionate about and what my vision was for the future.
I remember when we first met, and I think, in fact, I know it was over Twitter. You were posting all the time. We were just getting into the Naked Nudist and Naturist show. The first show was July 1st of last year, so probably sometime in July of 2023. I noticed you on Twitter posting, checked out your page, and near the top, or maybe at the top, you had a video of yourself standing fully nude, fully frontally nude, facing the camera near a body of water, a stream or a river or whatever, and you told your story. And I actually got the chills listening to that and watching. I thought, here is a woman who is right to the bare bones, raw and honest from an emotional perspective. That's truly what naturism is all about, isn't it? Literally, not being funny, but literally stripping everything away. We are just who we are, right down to the core of who we are. Is that basically how you see it as well?
Exactly, and it was extremely hard for me to figure out what I was going to say. Hector Martinez, who is somebody that I really respect, would say, you need to really get out there and do a video. And I was, I just don't. That's just not me. But he has a way of finding out what you really can do, and then convincing you that you can do it. And so he. I just spoke from the heart, and I think that's what really resonated with people is it's my story, and there's probably somebody that went out there and said, hey, that's me, and if she can do it, I can do it. And so I think it's so important that we tell our story because the story that you tell may be the one that somebody's waiting for to really kind of jumpstart their embracement of nudism or naturism.
Yeah. Well, it certainly struck home here. And I knew we had the genuine article, and we get emails every single week from people about that very same thing, how we are normalizing nudism. There are a lot of people out there, and we've talked about this before in another forum, a lot of home nudists. Maybe even more than half of the nudist naturists are actually home people. They don't go to resorts or beaches or socialize nude. They just enjoy being clothes free at home, and they'll write to us and say, there a lot of times we think we're a little bit weird, a little bit odd because we don't know anybody else doing this. And they hear our show, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is an actual thing that maybe all of us ought to be doing. So when they saw your video, I guarantee you, and I've heard this from a number of people, but I guarantee hundreds of thousands, if not millions more, have had the same feeling when they saw your video. Like, here is the genuine deal. I wish I could do that. I need to do that. And who knows how many people you've led or prompted to give it a shot. They might tell you, they might not, but definitely putting yourself out there like that spread the word fairly quickly, I think, amongst a lot of people, right?
I sure hope so because I was a home nudist for a while because the beach that I was close to that we could, it was an unofficial nude beach, still is an unofficial nude beach. I would go down there and we started getting people taking pictures, complaining. The police would show up, and so that's when I kind of decided I was going to be a home nudist. And I know a lot of people have written to me and said I'm a home nudist, so I'm not really a nudist. And I'd say no, I don't ever get that idea in your head, because you are. If you're living the philosophy, just because you're not social because either you can't be because of a job or something, or just a location, you just are so far away from anybody that you can be social from, you still are. So, please disabuse yourself of that. You are part of our community.
Yeah, very well said. And what do you tell people who are in that situation, or what do you advise? They're a home nudist. They have no desire whatsoever to be a social nudist, whatever that even is. But people who do that, as you know, and as we know here, that just makes it, I don't know, 100, a billion times more meaningful when you're hanging with like-minded people. And again, everything is stripped away, your fancy clothes, your makeup, your whatever, it's all gone. You're just you and I'm just me. Do you encourage them to try it anyway, or do you just kind of let them, okay, enjoy your life at home, being a home nudist behind four walls? Great, at least you're doing it. Maybe someday consider this, but for now, you're doing the right thing. What do you think?
I'm actually working with someone that is in that same quandary, and it is a work and family fear that my work is going to find out, or that my family is going to find out. And he was saying, "Gosh, I just don't feel like I'm part of the community." And I said, and I don't give a cookie cutter approach, like you should do this, you should do this. I listen to what the person says. And if there is some compelling reason, like, I don't want to be it because if my work finds out, I will lose my job, or I will lose my family, or something like that,
Mhm.
then, I won't push it, because there is a real danger that they're of some loss.
Yeah.
But if there's somebody that's, just kind of sitting there, and you just know that if you gave them the encouragement, they may seek out social nudism, then I encourage them. I think it's important to listen to each person's unique situation, and then figure out how you can maybe tailor something to them, because I get that a lot. What is my next step? What can I do? So I really listen and see how I can help that person individually.
Yeah. I remember my first time at resort. Now, I was in my 30s, even though I've been a naturist nudist my whole life. It was always around the house or in the backyard or with friends. Well, this time I went to a nudist resort alone, didn't know anybody. Said, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to dive in. It might be the worst thing I ever did. It might be the best thing I ever did. I don't know. And so I walked in, at some point took my clothes off. I said, okay, now I'm going to walk to the pool in front of a lot of people I've never seen before, don't know them, and this could go south quickly. Basically, some people said, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you before. Nice to have you here. Other people didn't say anything. Not to be rude. They just weren't paying attention. They were reading a book. I thought, wait a minute, this is almost too normal and too natural, as in maybe more normal than if everybody had a suit on. When you tell people that, they say, yeah, right, until they do it. And then they realize that is how it works, isn't it?
I know it's
Mm.
the getting them to get through the gate
Yeah.
is really the hardest part, because there's so much anticipation, and there's so much that they've built up in their head about what they think it's going to be, that when they walk through the gate and they put their towel down and they look around, I mean, it's just such a non-event that they've built so much up that it's a non-event that they're like, wow, this is great. I'm here, and I'm going to enjoy myself.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you definitely did the right thing, and the way you're spreading the joy of naturism, clothes-free living is phenomenal. So now that you have spent an entire week, a whole week of your life as the president of AANR, I'm sure you have everything down cold. You know exactly what to do. But in case you don't, what is on your plate in terms of the first 100 days or your first two or three priorities you want to address for the American Association for Nude Recreation?
Well, I'll tell you, I jumped in with both feet, and because I did have so many things that I wanted to do, and it was kind of hard to pick, because you want to start kind of slow. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to address, and so I've met with the presidents and the trustees separately at the AANR convention that we recently had over at Shangri-La Ranch in Arizona.
Hmm.
That was great. It was great seeing folks meetings in person. That's, I think, a really exciting event when you can kind of share the excitement. And so I was so excited to be there as the president. That was where I had become a director. I became a director 4 years ago, 2 terms at Shangri-La Ranch. So it was like coming home and now stepping into a new role. And I remember when I first campaigned to be a director. So that was a great place to have my inauguration. But yeah, I have already started we've started our meetings. Our chairs are so excited about what we're going to be doing, and it's going to be member centric. My focus was ensuring that we are revising and refreshing the AANR for the future, and getting people excited about being a member. Because the one thing that I hear constantly is, why should I be a member or why should I renew? And I want it to be where there is no question, that we have the value proposition, and so there is no asking. People just want to jump in with both feet. So it's trying to balance, getting the things that I want done and ensuring that I always have the members, top of mind.
Yeah, and you've been in leadership positions before. I mean, we've talked about that. You led your own team for a while. And while you have to be on your team to make sure the work gets done, you also have to provide an openness and a willingness to make the environment, kind of like you said, I want to join. I want to be a part of this. I'm not joining because somebody's making me or they're making me feel bad because I'm not. I'm joining because I want to. And now the membership has gone down a little bit. And I've heard people say, the COVID thing changed everything. People just kind of got out of the loop and out of the habit. We're going to bring that back, though, right? Under your leadership?
Absolutely. And I think any messages and what the experiences that we learned during the pandemic, we need to really figure that out, because that was a seminal moment, I think, for a lot of organizations and for the population at whole, because people were
Yeah.
asking me, well, why should I go ahead and renew or join when I can't go to the resorts? And so
Yeah.
our focus has always been, the discounts for the clubs and resorts, which is fabulous because that is really a great place for social nudism. However, we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we have
Mhm.
not really focused on to show people what their membership dues are going for. And so I said that let us know that we really need to underscore what are all the other things that we do for them that we need to do. And so that will answer the question, why should I, renew, or why should I even become a member? But that will hopefully have everything, you know, kind of lined up for us. So when they ask, we already have that answer, or it already speaks to itself.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information on the AANR website about naturism, nudism, clothes-free living. If for no other reason, become a member for that, because you keep people up to date. It's not as though you design the website on January 1st and it stays up for a whole year with no changes. You're constantly adding content and information and newsworthy events, calendar events. And so, if no other reason, that's a pretty good reason to join, isn't it?
And also the fact that you are now joining a community that you may not have been aware of. That was the big
Yeah.
moment when I opened up the little brochure for AANR on the Bare Necessities cruise, and I said, "What do you mean? There's resorts? There's all this this place to be social." And so, and also, I learned later that we have the government affairs team that really advocates to make sure that whatever nude privileges that we have are not taken away. And that is a big thing for people to be able to join and say, I'm actually making a difference so that they aren't taking those away. And so I want to focus on
Mhm.
that and show the people the intangible things that they may not know about, but that we are doing. And instead of keeping those kind of in the background, bring those to the forefront.
Yeah, and I've been in situations before where you start with an organization, you're kind of low on the totem pole, so to speak. You make your way up. Well, we should do this, we should do that. When you have 10% of the information, yet you're calling the shots for 100% of the organization because you just don't know enough. And then you get to the big chair and you realize, oh my goodness, kind of like you just said, the government affairs team. I'll bet most people, even dues paying members of AANR, didn't know a whole lot about the government affairs team until recently because it's been talked about quite a bit. But that's a huge part of what you do is protect our rights as naturists and nudists, not only to make sure they don't take stuff away, but if something happens to a member, AANR can dive in and say, hey, hold the phone here, Mr. City or Mr. State. We don't like what you're doing, and what you're doing is illegal. And so we have AANR backing us in those situations as well, right?
Exactly, because I did not know that they actively look for words that in legislation, upcoming bills, because a lot of what happens is they'll write up a bill and they'll cast a wide net basically to catch a goldfish. And so a lot of times we could, inadvertently be caught up in it. It's not their intention, but it kind of ripples out. And so we kind of look at that and say, wait a minute, if you crafted it to actually shorten up this little field that you're trying to get to, it will not affect us because it was never intended to affect us. And if we did not do that, we would have lost a lot of some of the resorts, some of the ways that they had crafted things. We couldn't have had our youth or our families there. So it's really important that we look at that to ensure that, these upcoming bills that they're putting forth, that we kind of stopgap them and say, let's take a look at it. Let's make sure that your intention doesn't catch us inadvertently. And that's a big one. That is, and of course, you've heard a lot of some really top stories that have had, just these little kind of waves that have rippled out, for us. And we just want to kind of contain that. And I think a lot of people don't know the advocacy that we do behind the kind of behind the scenes. And we want to bring that to the forefront so they could understand that.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what you're bringing to the table. You will make sure that the information is out there early and often and all of the time so people understand and they don't hear 10 years down the road, oh, there's a government affairs team. No, they'll know about it again early and often and all of the time because they need to know what you're doing and you're going to put that out there, aren't you?
I surely want to say this is a benefit. And if for nothing else, you are ensuring that we will have the funds to be able to counter anything that could, come up in the future. And we also do a lot of advocacy when people call in and they say, I'm going through divorce and, my husband or wife wants to use my nudity as a weapon against me to gain like full custody or something. This is not something new. And so we have information to be able to give to attorneys. It's very private. We don't speak about that because it is a privacy thing. And so unfortunately, we can't really showcase that part of it, but we do allude to it in some things where we will mention something. We usually don't, give out too many details. And unfortunately, we can't because it is privacy. But there is a lot of stuff that we do for our members because we know and we've seen it happen. And so there's already, something that's prepared. So there is that part, portion of it. And I wish we could focus a little bit more on that, but we can't due to privacy for our members. And so, we do allude to that, but I think that with the government affairs team, there's a lot of information that we can impart. So, let's focus on that and get them excited that, we are doing something behind the scenes.
Yeah, very well said. And as I understand it, I talked to Tim Mullins this past spring, I believe in May, the same show you were on when you were both running for the presidency. He's been the government affairs team chairman for a long time. I heard 14 years. I don't know if he's been on the team that long or if he's been the chairperson that long, but he's continuing in that role under your presidency, right?
Absolutely. He does such a wonderful job that he's made so many contacts and inroads that I can't imagine anybody not doing it.
Yeah.
Although I know he does say that he wants to get somebody, that could take over at some point when he decides that he'd like to step away. And that's important. And that's what I want to do for all the positions because at some point, people will want to step away. And we need to make sure that we are promoting and teaching and educating somebody to take over for us that where it could be almost seamless. And so I'm very excited that he is going to still be the chair for that and that he is looking for someone to, at some point replace him.
Yeah. There's a term for that, and I've used it all the time, throughout my career. Apart from this, institutional knowledge. It's always good when you're the new person, and I don't want to say you're new, but you're new to the presidency. It's always good to have people around you who have been there and done that. Okay, what happened 5 years ago? What happened 10 years ago? What happened 14 years ago? And then you can make a more intelligent decision going forward because somebody at your right hand has the information of what's been done before, right?
That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do this all the way down to our regions, where we're, getting this great, knowledge base. So when a director terms off, then we have somebody when their officers, the president, vice president, when they term out, that they already have somebody, because it's great that we have somebody that's so knowledgeable in the position. But, when that person decides to leave or there's a change in circumstances, if we don't have somebody that we have, worked with and mentored, that just is a real loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I want to make sure, that we're mentoring people to take over as directors, officers, my position. I just want people to get so excited that they feel that they've been mentored so they can step up.
Yeah, no, that's a very intelligent way to do it. You have the institutional knowledge, the people who have been there and done that in place, but you're also training other people because they won't want to stay forever, or they can't stay forever. They just want to leave or whatever. You have people who have some of that institutional knowledge coming in to replace them, not just a fresh face off the street. Here, why don't you grab this job? And what? I don't know what to do. But you're kind of training them in advance, right?
Exactly. I think that is so important to mentor people because, and that's like getting our members. We want to always, ensure that we keep getting members so the organization can keep going on. And with mentoring, you're making sure that, you don't have any missteps or gaps, that you're getting somebody excited to take the knowledge that you have and run with it. And it's just a win-win for everybody.
No, yeah, very well said. And as I understand, we're talking to Linda WEBER, the president of the American Association for Nude Recreation. As I understand it, the chair people, those who chair these various committees, those people are actually chosen by you, right? This is not an elected position by the great electorate. The chair people are chosen by the president. Is that correct?
That's correct. I submitted the list of the people that I wanted to have as the chairs of the committees, and then it was ratified at the meeting by the trustees. So, and the trustees are elected, but the committee chairs are the sole discretion of the president, and then presented to the trustees.
Okay, but the trustees have to ratify it. So I'm guessing in most situations, as you just described, those are automatically ratified unless there's something really odd about somebody you chose and say, hey, Linda, I don't know about this one because, but in that case, it didn't happen, of course. But for the most part, the president of AANR gets to choose their own chair people, right?
Yeah, and it's mostly the trustees are put in those positions because that's a great place for them to use their knowledge. And then I've added in people that I felt had the skills and that I was excited to work with because they had the same vision as I did. So we've got some new faces and some, fresh eyes looking at it, but we also have balanced it with the trustees who have, been there and they have, some knowledge to impart. So it's great. So we've got a nice balance of, the new and the people that have already been there that can kind of help guide.
Okay. Now, a trustee, there are 7 regions throughout the USA of AANR. You have one trustee from each region, is that right?
That's correct.
And their job is to oversee what you do, oversee the general information about AANR, or what is their role as a group?
It's a check and balance because I do lead the board. We have the president, vice president, and then our secretary treasurer. But there's a lot of stuff that we can affect by ourselves. But there's some questions that we have to pose to the trustees, and I think it's just to balance the power so that we don't have somebody, an incoming president, that really makes a lot of wild decisions. So it's a checks and balances, and they are the ones that, they're at the top level and they are guided by the members. So as long as they remember that they work for the members, then we're fine with it. We've got that layer, and then the president and the executive director are both on the same level, and then we have the officers and then the regions under that. So that's our organization.
The terrific Linda Weber, the current president of AANR, the American Association for Nude Recreation. And on next week's show, episode 62, we'll have part 2 of my interview with the terrific Linda Weber. Well, thank you for listening today to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 61. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked Nudists and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked Nudists and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.